Good evening, everybody. I'm Scott Binsack, CEO and founder of MFA, March for America. It is Sunday, April 22nd, and thank you for joining me. I am live from Las Vegas, where MFA headquarters are located. I first want to apologize out to the public and our private group that I have not been live very much because of the past month. I have been receiving acute antibiotic treatment for an ongoing bone infection. And when you have an autoimmune disease like I have called Addison's, it's a battle, it's an uphill battle. And I'm finally starting to feel better from this treatment and recovering. So back to business as normal, hopefully this coming week. Lots of good things going on with MFA, but I don't get into those publicly pretty much. We do those in our private group. Anyone interested in MFA and joining MFA and what we have to offer with our 9 corporations, just go to mfaofficial.com. We have come to an end of another chaotic news week. Chaos in Washington as normal, but worse with what is coming this week. I have tried to forewarn people. Worse, what's coming this week even around the planet. There's lots of end games going on, and lots of political propaganda and stories as well, including that of proof that the Syrian attacks were faked. And what is scary is that you see major public officials, including the president and others, both sides of the fences. Just this is not, this is a bipartisan thing, believing this faked white helmet chemical attack and that children were killed and all the above, when in fact they were not. And many countries are now coming out, as well as investigative journalists from around the world, saying that this is not the case. It was a faked attack. I will get into that a little bit later, where RT has sent in a reporter to speak to one of the young boys who was used in this video and what he had to say. At the same time, we have another shooting at the Waffle House, of all places, by a young man who had also tried to previously, get into the White House and had his weapons removed. And sure enough, his father gave them back to him. And again, these shootings are timed precisely. And I call them activated shooters. It is not some tinfoil hat conspiracy. When you put them all together in the timing of these shootings, including that of the Las Vegas shooting, which is different than these other shootings, including like the church shooting, the YouTube shooting, this Waffle House shooting. We can go down the line here, the Parkland shooting and the above, but they all have serious ties together. So I want you all to put something in perspective here. When Donald Trump on a Sunday tweets madly, and today he has tweeted over 23, I think it's 23 or more tweets, and they're like, again, hoax, Russian hoax, this thing, that thing, stuff, about North Korea and whatever. I don't even want to get into it. My point being, that means this week there's something huge coming, and I'm being told it could be as much as tomorrow, okay? Between tomorrow and Friday, but it could be tomorrow, even one of the main things coming. And there's also information that there's a back-end deal being cut between Mueller and Trump, as well as what's going on with Cohen. So there's a lot going on here. And as you know, Cohen and Trump go way back. For the president to even tweet that I do not think Michael Cohen will flip, that is common sense. Why would the president have to tweet that he does not believe his longtime confidant, consigliere, attorney, fixer would not have to flip, will not flip? If he hasn't done anything and doesn't know anything, what would he have to flip on? Okay? I've told people for 2 years now about this situation and what's going on here. Okay? I believe you're going to see the first of Mueller's reports this week. It should be this week, but that's not guaranteed. Even good sources, the things change depending upon what the president does, as well as what the Department of Justice is going on, what's finding, as well as what's coming out. Just like the lawyer who is on the Cohen case right now has ties to George Soros and all the above. That's one side finding dirt on the other, back and forth. And you know who suffers from all of this crap? The American people. Both parties suffer from this. And both parties are getting led down wrong roads when people should be paying attention to the facts. So my point in all this is this. The pattern of behavior and information that has come out when Donald Trump tweets wildly on a Sunday, the following week is usually complete mayhem with major bombshells coming out. I know for a fact that the bombshells are due, big bombshells. Big bombshells, and that's why you see Nunes out there screaming his voice. You see Kelly Conway on today as well. You see them all. All you have to use is common sense and look at the pattern of behavior here, as well as with the shootings. Okay? Every time there's a major bombshell or an indictment or some of the above, there's something above from Mueller or the other side, you see a shooting right before or right after, and you see Trump wildly tweet on a Sunday right before and or right after. But usually it's right before, okay? Always right before. So I will guarantee you, and we'll see. People can laugh. Let's see what drops this week. And what gets me is this. If you're laughing about Michael Cohen, if you're laughing about Trump Russia, okay? And I'm going to say it again. MFA is neither the left or the right with the truth in the middle. Because the left's got lots to hide too. I can go down the line. Comey, all of them, okay? But far-right people cannot keep using Hillary Clinton and Obama's dirty deeds and illegalities to give Trump a get-out-of-free jail card. This White House, no president in history has had such chaos, mayhem, stories, scandals, hookers, prostitutes, golden showers, and the above. Okay? The list is endless. And people still don't connect the dots. I want to pay attention to you all. I know this man right here. I know Cohen. Pay attention. Okay? I'm going to say it again. I also know who he's tied to. I did shows of this 13, 14 months ago. People laughed then. All that has come true till now. Almost precisely. Precisely. Okay? The facts are facts. You're not going to hide all the shit that Cohen has done with the Russian mafia, with the Italian mafia, with Donald Trump, Trump's organizations, and the above, and you cannot make it up. Tax returns don't lie. Mueller's had Donald Trump's tax returns for months and months. Okay? Pay attention. They have been investigating Cohen for a while as well, and I told everybody this, and a week before, not even 4 days before they raided his office, I said, stay tuned, Michael Cohen to be indicted this week, shit begins. And then the next thing you know, boom, they're raiding their offices. I can't make that shit up. How would I know that they're going to raid his offices if I don't have the right sources? How would I know he's going to be indicted out of the blue? And I've been talking about it for weeks. Actually, a long time. I said eventually we come down the line that Cohen will be indicted. And I'm going to tell you now. Pecker, Donald Trump's friend from American Media Inc., is going to be indicted as well, okay, for getting rid of these stories and catching these stories and destroying them. Okay? Mark my words. Mark my words. And people who laugh at this and continue to fight between the left and the right with people constantly being nasty to one another, laughing at everybody, do not follow the facts from either side. Facts. Facts. Not hyperbole. Facts. Facts. Facts are not dead. They're trying to make facts dead. We are living in, America's turning into a communist country. And if you don't see it, you have to be out of your gourd. You thought Obama was bad? This man is a madman. This man is a bad man. And yes, some stuff they've gone after him wrongfully for and things of the above, but he's also put himself in that position. And I've stood up for this man. I mean, I have a year of videos proving what Hillary Clinton has done. The email scandal, Uranium One. I've investigated for almost 12, 14 months the Panama Papers with the Clinton Foundation. Dirty, 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 corrupt, all the above. They're all corrupt. That's the point. Why do you think Paul Ryan and everybody are retiring? Because it's dead. You're not going to see anything done in the House anymore. Everything, these issues are dead. Healthcare. Where's all this great healthcare we were supposed to get and fix from the Obama madness that came from that? Nothing. And you're not going to see anything from that. You're not going to see any more legislation done because of this Russia scandal. Okay? Because of this Russia scandal. It's going to keep going and going and going until it's finally played out, whether they fire Mueller, fire Rosenstein, don't do it, arrest, indict Andrew McCabe. It doesn't matter. Both sides in this are dirty. One knew about the other's dirt, okay? And thought they could get away with it, and the other one thought that pushing Hillary Clinton's dirt and Obama's dirt, that would expose that and get them to investigate it, which they finally are in the session. However, you have basically two deep states, and deep state, the word was really created by Donald Trump, by Cambridge Analytica with Steve Bannon back in 2014. They created the slogans, build a wall, deep state, lock her up, okay? Many more. They tested them in 2014. That is a fact. That is a fact. So you see there was an intent in 2014 to set up for the 2016 elections for fraudulent matters. In other words, to con people and make you believe that building a wall was the right thing to do. They tested it. They tested it on specific age, demographic, across the board, across the United States, saw who picked up on it, and then pushed it to them, and pushed it to them, and pushed it to them. That is not a democratic society where you win an election properly. Obama used Cambridge Analytica as well. They did not, however, Obama did not use Cambridge Analytica the way Steve Bannon, Jared Kushner, and Trump at all used Cambridge Analytica and Facebook. They targeted, as I told you, 16 months ago, that I said Cambridge Analytica. People looked at me and said, Cambridge Analytica, who's that? I explained it. From car videos to shows to whatever, they're on my YouTube, they're on my Facebook, pointing this out a long time ago. And now it's all coming to light. The point, both sides are leading America in propaganda to cover up each other's deeds so that they do not get caught. In this case, you see lots of people retiring from Congress, even the Senate, Paul Ryan, all them. They don't want to be a part of this. It's a dead deal. They want out. And you see a Democratic blue wave coming across America, and Republicans and conservatives, and I'm a conservative. However, I'm not for either party anymore. It doesn't work that way. I'm for America. And the point being is that when you see this madness where the president's lawyers being raided, do you know how serious that is? People think that this is some game by the Justice Department to come up and raid Cohen's office, get his documents, do whatever. The guy's so dirty, it's pathetic. And you're going to learn that. And Sean Hannity's going down in this too. Trust what I tell you. More information busted today. So what do they do on Twitter? They say that this Hannity stuff is false information by mainstream media to target Sean Hannity. And people get all upset at one another, at me, at anyone else who starts to tell you the facts. Instead of just listening and doing research and following facts, instead of garbage, BS, lying YouTube videos and other from people who are spreading this madness, like Roger Stone spreads through for Trump, through Steve Bannon, and Steve Bannon spread this stuff through like Alex Jones. Alex Jones is being sued, thank God, for this Sandy Hook crap, okay? I've even investigated Sandy Hook, and I'm going to tell you what, as I told you about Vegas, it really happened. And sicko people out there believe that we're all lying and that there's no bodies and no one died and poor children didn't die. But yet when we say it's a false flag at the same time, they think, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. No, it does make sense. You can have a false flag event where people get injured, very injured, killed, dead, etc. Okay? And now Jones, Sandy Hook parents sue Alex Jones for defamation. And what has Jones done? Jones has changed his tune and said now that Sandy Hook is real. Okay? He was going to have to settle his suit because he's going to lose his suit. And he said that Sandy Hook really happened now, just coming out. And now he's upping his shows to these great emergency broadcasts so he can raise more money to pay for his legal bills. Okay? There's a difference between fact and fiction. People seem to forget about facts. And that's a very big part of this is the attack on the media by Donald Trump and his team and anyone who supports him and the far right. everything that people believe, if something comes out bad against Donald Trump on Washington Post or New York Times or whoever it is, it's fake news. So people believe it's fake news, and it's not fake news if you check your fact. But see, people are too lazy. People just go off headlines, and people just believe anything against Donald Trump is fake news when in fact it is not. Then on the other side, you'll see that there's fake news that comes out against Hillary, Obama, and these great scandals, and 25,000 sealed indictments, and all this stuff that people are going to be put in Gitmo. You can't put Americans in Gitmo. Anything that comes from Q or Anon, I'm telling you, it's Jerome Corsi, Roger Stone, okay, Bannon's team are behind Q and Anon from Reddit. Understand what I'm telling you. And I've yet to be wrong on these things. So when people criticize me and say, you're full of shit, really? I could just go back to 2 weeks ago and I told you exactly what was going on with Cohen, and I told you months ago Cohen was going to go down and all this, and that he was dirty. Okay? I told you all this. Don't want to listen. And I'm not here to toot my horn. I'm trying to get people to understand there's a difference between fact and fiction and what's real and what's not real. And just like this, now we have this kid, all right, this Waffle House gunman. All of these, not all, a majority of these shooters are children or young adults under 30, okay, or in that range, who have mental problems, who have been in trouble, or the FBI knew about them, or the above. Even we can go back to Stephen Paddock here, okay, which ISIS claimed responsibility. It got buried in the news. They tried to claim responsibility again for the shooting in Vegas. It got buried in the news. And that Stephen Paddock, he had a father wanted on the FBI's most wanted list. Stephen Paddock has a lot of other things that we'll be sharing with you in episode 2 that also tie him into the government and the FBI. Okay? But these shootings, these kids are activated shooters. They are activated shooters. I know that sounds tinfoil hat to people, but when you put all them together, and we're working on to show you all the similarities, and not just similarities, but actual matches between shooters. Okay, meaning same properties of these individuals. Mental health, FBI knew when the shootings took place, when they were activated, what they were killing that week in a big story, how it changes the story right away. Here's a kid that went into the White House. I remember sharing that story and discussing the White House shooting, where they got into the White House property. So here you have Waffle House gunman who is at large right now with 2 guns. How do they know that he has 2 guns with him? I'm just saying. And I also want to point something out. This is from the Daily Mail, okay? I can't show the top. It doesn't go all the way down. What does the Daily Mail have in common with all these shootings and all these incidences? Does everybody remember Paddock and the shooting and the photos that were first leaked from the crime scene? Everything has been going to UK Mail, okay? Not U.S. sources from these shooters and these episodes, but the UK Mail, okay? They are the ones exposing and stating all these different things because they're being given information from our CIA, FBI, etc., along with MI6 to them, and they're putting the stories out in the UK and then sharing them so they make it over here first, so that reporters in our country don't have to be questioned or ask, where did this come from, who are you, the sources, because this is being purposely leaked out, and they use the UK to do it. They're using the UK as a roundabout, okay? And it happened with the first photos from the Vegas shooting, UK Mail. Okay? They're using the UK as this channel. And May and Trump have come to some disagreement with our intelligence agencies, just like the poisoning of the Russian spy. And then we go into the Syrian conflicts, and now you have Macron with France jumped in on this whole, this whole madness. And you see him coming here this week, along with Merkel coming to the United States this week. Okay? This week is when they're going to embarrass Donald Trump. I'm telling you now, they're going to embarrass Donald Trump this week, and he knows it. And he knows the shit is coming this week when he has this big dinner, as well as no Democrats, have been invited to this. And you have Merkel coming here. Okay? Watch what I tell you. This is a week that you want to pay very close attention to and what's coming. And it may even drop it for some of it starting tomorrow morning. Okay? And that's what I've been told. Now, I also want to say this. Stuff changes. You know what I'm saying? When the screwed up part is when I said that people would be indicted or things like that, or that, Mueller would be fired. It comes out now from sources in the White House that when I said in December Trump wanted to fire Mueller and was supposed to fire Mueller, sure enough, the leak came out that he was seriously and was going to and had already set to fire Mueller, and they changed his mind in December. So the source was accurate, but Trump changing his mind the way he changes underwear, hopefully, you understand, regularly, is amazing. The man changes his mind all the time. Okay? He's very unstable, this guy. And whether you want to believe that or not, he is. People must focus on America and cleaning this swamp on both sides. Oh, just so you know, Drain the Swamp was also tested in 2014 as well. Okay? It was also tested in 2014 by Cambridge Analytica. Again, no coincidences in life. Nada. Zero. Not happening. Coincidences don't exist. So, let's get into this, my rant here. Waffle House gunman who is at large with 2 guns. How they know they have 2 guns? Use your common sense. They don't fucking know if he has 2, 4, 8, or 12. Or none. I'm going to tell you before I get into this, I believe this young man is already dead and was either killed, and to make it look like he killed himself like the other victims in other shootings. Same MO, same thing. Or there's a hero. Just so you know, there's a hero in every one of these shootings as well. As we can keep going on. AR-15 that was confiscated by the FBI in July when he tried to jump White House fence and kill Donald Trump. Travis Rankin, 29, shot dead 4 people and injured several others at the Waffle House in Antioch, Nashville on Sunday morning. Police are still searching for Rankin after he fled the scene naked and barefoot. Now we got naked shooters. Naked shooters. Poo party. Naked shooters. Serious psychiatric problems on most of these guys. The whole bit. These are activated shooters. Do not kid yourself. And we have the technology and the advancements to do just that. We could go back to MK Ultra, 60s, 70s. We are way beyond that. And all of these gunmen have patterns. Similarities and actually almost identical issues on some of them. Guns were returned to his dad, who admitted giving them back to his son. The AR-15 used in the Waffle House shooting was among 4 weapons. Police said that 2 of Rankin's 4 guns are still unaccounted for. That's why they believe they have 2 of them. I get it. I'm just saying, you don't know if he has 2 guns or not. Weapons received after he was arrested at the White House last July after trying to jump the fence to kill President Donald Trump. Already then, I knew that was a bullshit story then when he tried to jump the fence. Distraction, a whole bit. I'm telling you, activated, mentally unstable, controlled individuals. He shot dead 4 people and injured several more at the Waffle House in Antioch early Sunday morning before shedding his jacket and fleeing naked. Police said Rankin had his Illinois gun license revoked last year at the request of the FBI, and 4 of his weapons were seized by authorities in Tazewell back in October. The guns, however, were eventually returned to Rankin's father, who has since admitted giving them back to his son. Well, I guarantee they're probably going to charge the father as well in this crime. Police said 2 of Rankin's 4 guns are still unaccounted for, and authorities believe he may be at large with the previously seized weapons. They have warned that he is armed and dangerous. I fully believe he's dead. They're going to say that he killed himself and or, some hero will come in and kill him if he's not dead. Guaranteed. Rankin told Secret Service officers he was trying to set up a meeting with President Donald Trump. The Nashville Police Department said arrest warrants charging Rankin with murder have been issued as authorities continue to search for the gunman. Police said he arrived at the Waffle House before dawn on Sunday and waited in the parking lot for 4 minutes before shooting 2 people outside. When Rankin entered the restaurant, a hero diner identified as James Shaw Jr. managed to grab the rifle and toss it over the counter. Here's the AR-15 he used. Here's the Waffle House. Very strange. Waffle House is the middle of nowhere. I'm just saying. There's our hero who admits he did it to save his own ass, which is fine. He saved a bunch of people and saved his own ass. Bravo. We are checking into the background of this man anyway to see what fits with this. This is a whole new shooting, a whole new investigation. I'm not a hero, says the man who wrestled the gun from the Waffle House shooter. I'll play this quick video for you. If we have volume. And
I think anybody could have did what I did. If they're just pushed in that kind of cage, and you have to either react or you're gonna, fold. And I chose to react because I didn't see any other way of me, living. And that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to live. And I'll say it again, I didn't really fight that man to save everybody else. I know that might not be a popular thing, but I'm really honest. I'm going to be honest to the core. I took the gun so I could get myself out. And then I went back for my friend after I was like, let me see, is he still alive? Because it was just so fast. Like, I don't think, I hope nobody ever has to be in those shoes again, but it was almost like light switch type fast. Like you hit a light switch and the light's on so fast and you have to think.
At least this young man is being honest, and anybody I believe in that situation is going to, not anybody, but someone of his caliber wanted to react very fast to save his own ass. I mean, let's be real here. He wanted to save his own ass. I mean, no one wants to, and he's being beat up for this now and yet no one's been in that situation but him, and they're trying to beat up on him on social media again, and this is what happens. Sadly, people beat up on people for being honest. And, instead of being, hey, this guy's being honest. This guy's being honest. So this is a change in our country, very sadly. People beat up on people, do horrible, Twitter, Facebook, everything. I am so glad we have our own social platform coming out for real people who want, on the same, how do I want to say, with least morals, values, and things of that nature, to not trash people and be hatred to people, because hatred is growing and growing and growing in this country, and it is very bad. It's growing around the world as well. Yes, his arms are all cut up and things of that nature. He was shot. He was grazed with a bullet. So police declared the scene clear about 3 p.m. with no sight of ranking. I don't have to go through this with everybody because I'm pretty sure everyone knows what's going on here. But this is more to me about what is, yes, fight or flight, exactly. And his fight was to get rid of this gun, to save his ass, to that. And doing that, he saved and helped others. So in reality, the guy is a hero. Honesty is out. Honesty is out, and lies and corruption and hate are in. There's the bullet holes in the glass from the Waffle House. Imagine sitting there eating your breakfast and having a gunman come in, to do this. This is what's going on. By a naked gunman, no less. The naked gunman. The stories just get wilder and wilder and wilder. He shot through the door. Everybody, this is just some photos. Always the UK gets these pictures and photos and things first. It's amazing. SWAT team swarmed the gunman's apartment. Police were still searching. I'm sure many people have seen this. Witness details the events of the shooting.
And they were a little busy, so I stayed in my car for a few minutes, which is probably a blessing. T, my friend, who was the cook, was outside smoking a cigarette. I got out of my car to go inside, and as I got out, this lunatic in a pickup pulled up. He got out with an assault rifle, wearing only a jacket, nothing from the waist down. Really just craziness. And he shot a customer who was about to go in the door, and then he shot my friend who was trying to get away on the sidewalk. And then he fired a few shots through the window, and then he went inside and opened fire inside. Once he started shooting inside, I dropped to the ground, and I started to crawl around my car because I didn't know if he was going to come after me. So I was able to see his feet from underneath my car, and I kind of just, once he went inside, I tried to run across the parking lot, and I fell because my legs were I was just scared. And I kind of just held out across the parking lot until everything kind of settled down. There's a hero, I don't know what his name is, but there's a gentleman who was in there who, when this guy stopped to reload or stopped to do something with his gun, he took that opportunity and wrestled with this guy until the gun went flying, and then the dude took off running. So I don't know who this guy is. I talked to him afterwards and told him, you are a hero, man, because had that guy reloaded, there was plenty more people in that restaurant that probably could have not made it home this morning.
Daily Mail always gets the stuff. Same thing with the Vegas shooting. Got the leaked photos first because they went around our own press deliberately. Okay? I can assure you that room, Stephen Paddock's room, was staged. That's why they sent out those pictures. And we will be getting to that, I can assure you, along with a very big story from the Montana women's prison system and many more. MFA News should be up pretty much within a week, I think, our channel. And MFA TV is being built by our joining with Vimeo to be able to, one of the top few organizations, to be able to stream live to every platform at one time. I'm looking very forward to that. Bottom line, no, Daily Mail is not paying for these stories. Dan, Daily Mail has been getting leaked items to them from our intelligence agencies. Let me ask you all a question. Again, I want you to use common sense, okay? And I know why they're doing this. It's not just about, they're leaking top information to UK papers, okay, to UK organization through intelligence channels. Where do you think the pictures from inside Paddock's room came from? Why weren't Paddock's pictures? I'm going to give you something to think about. You have this mass shooting in Las Vegas, okay, and this ties to the Daily Mail, right? So I'm going to explain why. You have a mass shooting in Las Vegas, and before even the end of the thing is done, okay, meaning within a 24-hour period, the Daily Mail has shots from inside Paddock's room, okay? Leaked out deliberately, head, blood on the floor, Photoshop blood on his head, real blood on the floor, caked in, old, and then some new Photoshop. We've even verified the pictures. These are facts now. Why is it that the UK got the pictures of the room first instead of our top news organizations, any of them, from Reuters, Associated Press, New York Times, Waffle, any of them? Why is it that the UK got the information first and the photos first? Do you think they were on the phone to everybody? Okay. Paddock's pictures were evidence they should have never gotten out at that time, and they deliberately put them out there. Our people, our intelligence people, FBI at all, CIA, put them out there. But they didn't use American newspapers to do it. Okay? Or mainstream media in the U.S. to do it. They used UK, the UK Mail. Okay? All of these stories are getting to the UK first. It's because they're circumventing U.S. media sources so that there's no proof of where these documents, photos, stories come from. Yes, and exactly. Daily Mail is a tabloid, just like the National Enquirer. And I remember when Flynn got fired, and I told everybody Flynn was going to flip, and that Flynn was dirty, and then he got fired, I did a video and showed you from the National Enquirer cover that the White House stated, which is Pecker, Donald Trump's best friend is Pecker. I argued it for months, and people go, no way, no way. Now you see what comes out about Pecker, okay? You see what comes out about Pecker, Cohen, and the stories of covering up stories on catch and destroy stories, okay? That cover showed Flynn, as the White House called him a Russian spy. It's right on the cover. I have it on the video. The White House called Flynn a Russian spy and threw him under the bus. And nothing goes into the National Enquirer, as I said 17 months ago, 12 months ago, that nothing goes into the National Enquirer unless Donald Trump and Pecker agree on it, bottom line. And the White House was behind that story about Flynn being a Russian spy, and thus to coat the scene and make it look as if it's, okay, he's a spy, he's out, we fired him, blah, blah, blah. All right? These tabloid-type papers, they use them and the Daily Mail to push this propaganda and agenda, okay? And this is what's going on. And yes, as one of my members here and viewers brought up, John says, just like 9/11, the UK had the news before anyone else. because it's coming from our intelligence agencies. Picture yourself, picture this. We're living in this whole world here, right? And what you see is what's controlling everyone, right? I'll go back to even, we'll say, Bin Laden and training camps for ISIS and all the above. There weren't independent investigative journalists over in the Middle East shooting these videos of Osama bin Laden's alleged training camps and ISIS training camps and all this bullshit. No, it came from where? The Pentagon. It came from our side and pushed to mainstream media to push out there to create bin Laden. Okay? It was a created character in this madness of these false flags and to control the populace. I know people don't want to believe that, but it is true. No terrorist acts take place in the United States without CIA, FBI, and our intelligence agencies knowing, the deep state part of them. Okay? Not the daily, everyday people that work there and do the above. The government is the cause of all of this crap. Just like bombing Syria recently in emptied locations where there were no chemicals or the above, and I'm going to get to that story right now before I get into some world events and things of that nature. I want to show you this. RT visits hospital scene in Douma chemical attack video, talks to boy from footage. Now, before I get into this article and play the video, notice that they pushed this story now that the UN has not been allowed in by Syrian and Russian officials to Douma at first to get samples and all the above, that they were holding them back, right? That's the propaganda going out everywhere. Russia, Syria doesn't allow the UN in to test, and that United States, France, UK attack Syria for these alleged chemical attacks without any real proof. CNN does an interview right from the refugee camp, and the gentleman, one of the people who were in this video, an alleged attack, said that they came and took his blood 24 hours before from his own mouth. See it on CNN. It's linked on our wall down below. I don't want to get into that because I'm making a point here. These are false events. Russia even warned before that. And I'm not sticking up for Russia. I'm sticking up for the fact that this is a false flag event to get the world to believe that Assad is killing or wanting to kill children and the above using chemicals. When in fact, if you use your brain and look at the facts, why would Assad, when he's basically won with Russia and Iran and even Turkey and others have helped him, they're won, they got Douma cleared out, they showed you buses of people coming out, and I'm repeating this because people still don't get it, it's in their head. Why would Assad want to use chemical weapons? People go, oh, because he's a dictator and sick. No. Dictator or not, he's not going to put a bullet in his own head on a national, international scene. Okay? He's not going to do it. And the same thing, all these attacks come from where? The white helmets. Videos, hoses, chlorine, da-da-da-da-da. So now watch. We go into this. RT visits hospital scene in Douma chemical attack video, talks to boy from footage. This young man right here is in the video footage. He's clear as day. This young man is the same one. Okay? RT Arabic has traveled to the Douma hospital shown in the footage of the aftermath of the alleged chemical weapons attack. The crew talked to a boy featured in the video who recounted the event right here. He recounts the events. Hassan Tab, hopefully I'm saying his name right, 11, appears to be the trembling boy, see, same boy, trembling boy seen in the video of the aftermath of the alleged chemical attack in eastern Ghouta city. The footage was circulated by mainstream media after being posted by so-called Douma Revolution group on Facebook, which comes back to i.e. the White Helmets. The organization was one of those, along with the controversial White Helmets, which claimed that the Syrian government was behind the alleged chemical attack in the city on April 7th. An RT Arabic crew visited the hospital scene at the alleged chemical attack video in a bid to shed light on the story. The crew also caught up with the youngster who portrayed the victim in the footage. Now, before I play this, let's go into something. I told you before this came out that I had independent journalists that I know that started to share and shared to me that they were there and they confirmed that this was fake, that no one was in the hospital, nobody died, nobody was treated for shit, nothing, okay? Then this comes out, and more information is coming out. What people in this country and around the world should be very, very concerned about is that millions of people and officials from the UN to Prime Minister, May of the UK to, we can go down, France, United States, Nikki Haley, Donald Trump, everybody, even the Democrats, Clinton, all these people. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They're all on the same side. Pay attention. They all say that this was real and it happened, yet they had no real proof. But Donald Trump, yeah, we have proof about this. Our intelligence agencies know. No, this is what I'm trying to tell everybody. Please pay attention to me. Both sides are cooperating in this major world false flag event to aid New World Order and the main cause. From Trump to Clinton, it doesn't matter. Okay? Trump didn't stand up and say this was fake. Okay? Trump went along with it like everybody and Nikki Haley and everything. Why? Because they needed a reason to go after Assad and to stay in Syria because Donald Trump said he wanted to pull out when in fact that's a crock of shit. Okay? The same thing happened the last time he said that. I don't think we should be in Syria. The next thing, 24 hours later, boom, that was the last chemical attack. And then they proved that, and then they sent in 60 cruise missiles, and 20 plus got shot down. And I showed you the base. The base was empty. The base that they hit was empty. They tried to make it look like chemicals were there, and there were no chemicals there, and I proved it. And so did several other journalists that went to Syria and we showed you the canisters were really not, it was all bullshit. And yet we bombed this country without approval. The other part in this one is 3 countries are now bombing another country, okay, sovereign countries. These are sovereign countries, no matter what you think of Assad. There's still sovereign countries. There is no more law and order in the world. Are you not seeing this? The UN is garbage. It's falling apart. No one follows UN doctrine or rules and things like that. I shouldn't say no one. We don't. The big players do not. We do whatever the fuck we want to do. And it should concern everybody that you see all of these people out there portraying that this was real and that these poor children got injured and all the above when in fact they did not. And the reason to stage war. You want to talk about something that could rage into World War III? Just for the one trickle of it? The New World Order endgame here is real. It's not some tinfoil hat conspiracy. This is fake. And you see people sitting in front of the UN and the world, the global elite, only care about themselves and their endgame. And it's being rushed up. And this is also distraction. So when the news in the United States is showing serious shit against Trump or even the Democrats, these distractions drop right in the lap. Boom. When Trump says he wants to get out of Syria, boom. Okay, here we go. Trump knows we can't get out of Syria because otherwise New World Order people goes, he'll stand up to New World Order. If he was standing up to New World Order, okay, he'd pull out of Syria, say, I don't care. But instead, they do this to make sure that he has an excuse to stay. An excuse to stay. Right here. So now listen to this.
Video footage that was seen around the world at the start of the month claiming to show the aftermath of an alleged chemical attack in Syria is now being called into question. A team from our sister channel, RT Arabic, visited the town of Douma. Earlier, Rory Souchet discussed what they saw with Hugo Zhidanov.
What we've seen so far from this place wasn't much. Mostly it's been a video released by the White Helmets activist group.
So, I want you to think about how serious this is. We just bombed a sovereign country without permission from our Congress, May without her parliament, France on their own, it doesn't matter, Macron, over this fake video. Over this fake video, we loft in X amount of cruise missiles, 101 cruise missiles from 3 different countries together on empty buildings to make it look like we're doing something to get rid of Assad's chemicals. That shit was done a long time ago with Russia from 2015. They've been doing that as well. And you have to ask yourself, why would Assad even do this? There's no reason. There's no reason. He is winning big time, bigly in Syria with Russia's aid and Iran's aid. And that's the problem. There is no reason for the U.S. to be there anymore because ISIS is basically disseminated there. Okay? So people should be very concerned that people will start lofting munitions and cruise missiles on a false flag, and they've been doing it for decades. And it's getting worse now. So if we don't like what someone's doing and we want them out and they don't fit into the New World Endgame, New World Order Endgame, we make it so that the world believes that they just like the weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Remember that? How little people forget. We got to go to Iraq, weapons of mass destruction, Colin Powell, everybody. Where is the outrage that we went into Iraq, spent billions of dollars, Halliburton makes a fortune, many other things as well. Both Democratic and Republicans all make money in these things. Both sides win in these wars. Both sides win in these false flags. Both sides are part of New World Order. And when people think that one party's clean and the other party's not, and that Donald Trump is the savior to stop New World Order, you got another thing coming. He's made the top 5% in the world richer in the basically in the United States and thereabout, richer over the past year with this tax, over the tax law. Okay? I'm not complaining. Corporations, good for corporations, but it's not going to be. It's going to trickle down, and it's going to add to our deficit because now you have tons of jobs, and most people can't fill these jobs. And why? Because Americans, a lot of them, don't want to work. They don't want to do these jobs that are filled and opening up in construction and farming and things in the above. So you're going to see, as you're seeing, just like the oil crisis right now. I don't want to get off track. I'll go over that later. But you see the oil crisis, and you're watching every time you go to the gas pump, and people laugh. Either you're poor and you don't understand, you don't have a car, or you don't get what's going on here. Why is gas inflated the way it is right now so that Saudi Arabia and other countries can make a lot of money? Okay? We don't need to inflate gas. Okay? Not at all. So why is gas up through the roof? And by July, just listen to what I'm telling you. By July, it's going to be through the roof. You're going to see gas wars. I guarantee you. You're going to see gas wars coming all for no reason. They used to do it with the Saudis when they used to say, and with the petrodollar, they would say that it's fossil fuel and we're running out of oil. That doesn't work anymore because there's no such thing. We found out in Russia is proved, and now it's been proven, there's no such thing as fossil fuel. Okay? This oil comes from deep, deep down in our earth, and we can keep drilling and hitting it, and Russia's proved that with deep well drilling. Dinosaurs are not 40,000 feet down in the ground. Understand? Okay? And you're going to see major. So while you're out there thinking Donald Trump's the greatest guy in the world and you're paying $100 to fill up your tank, pay attention. Pay attention. Okay? Just pay attention. And when you think that the trade wars are okay and everything's going to work out, pay attention to what's going to happen to our farmers and all the above that go with this. It's not going to be pretty. And this is dangerous. Yes, Mike, you will see gas $4 plus up across the nation, no problem. It will be up. Up, up, up. And people go, oh, I'm making more money. I got a job. I tried to explain to people a year ago, the hidden tax in the world is inflation, okay? And as the dollar gets taxed lower and lower, and as the yen gets stronger, and China's World Bank grows, and their gold holdings grow, and they have gold certificated money, okay? And Russia's gold grows, and all the above, which they have the most gold, they're claiming now, okay, on the planet. The Rothschilds really have the most gold on the planet, but that's besides the point. Point being, this is just a complete, it's bullshit. And who pays? Both sides argue back and forth to each other, are nasty to one another. Even families don't talk to each other about the political scene between Trump and this one. The disarray is horrible. The hatred is horrible. The anger is horrible between both sides. And guess what? You're still getting stuck right there because people don't get it. Both sides are playing Americans. Okay? This is a sick game. And it's not going to end very well. Trust what I tell you. And I will give you a piece of information that I know that came to me last week, that there are talks with Donald Trump and his team to come to some kind of deal to resolve this. This is another reason why Rudy was brought in, because it seems that they may, if Trump is willing to give up Kushner, his kid, some other people with indictments, possibly even with going along with letting Cohen go down, they're willing to possibly let Donald Trump walk with no impeachment and things of the above. I'm just telling you, this is what's on the back end, okay? And yeah, that's another good point. I mean, America has enough oil that we don't even need. We shouldn't be paying anything, Point being, I'm going to get back to Afghanistan. I didn't mean to direct off of that. I'm going to bring this back quick because I want everybody to pay attention to this. It's very important.
Now, video footage that was seen around the world at the start of the month, claiming to show the aftermath of an alleged chemical attack in Syria, is now being called into question. A team from our sister channel, RT Arabic, visited the town of Douma. Earlier, Rory Souchet discussed what they saw with Hugo Zhdanov.
What we've seen so far from this place wasn't much. Mostly it's been a video released by the White Helmets activist group. You're looking at it right now. It's shot in a hospital and it shows some truly heartbreaking pictures. The scenes of chaos, of panic, confused children being hosed down with water, everything pointing at a potential chemical attack. But our RT Arabic crew managed to talk to a boy who was featured in this video of the White Helmets, and he gave his account of events in that hospital. Have a listen.
We were outside and they told all of us to go into the hospital. I was immediately taken upstairs and they started pouring water on me.
Do you remember where it happened?
Here with the hose.
Where is it?
Here it is.
Boom! They dragged me inside out of the blue and dumped water on me, and ice cold water. It's ice cold. Of course his eyes are going to burn and thing, except total false, total bullshit. Kid's telling the truth.
They poured water on me. They put me here and then took me upstairs to my mother.
Where exactly upstairs?
The second floor. Upstairs, over there. The doctors started filming us here. They were pouring water and taking videos. And then my father came.
Pouring water and taking videos. Okay? Nothing happened to these children, as I tried to tell you all. And I got to give it to RT to go in there and find this kid and do it. And they're not propaganding this kid. It's true. Because you need to use common sense. Why would Assad or Putin and or together use chemical weapons in Douma or anywhere else when they have basically won, taking back most of Syria and have no need to do it?
Came and found me. Someone had told him we were here, so he came and took me away.
I went upstairs and saw my wife and children there. I was very surprised and asked what had happened, why my son's eyes were red. I found out that it was water, but it was cold. He could have got sick. He was undressed. When I took my son, they at first told me that they still needed him, but I still took him away from there.
See that? Cold water poured on. There his father came in, said the same thing, the whole bit. And this is what independent journalists, not just his child, but all the other information there. This is a planted attack. There was no chlorine, nothing, nada.
The boy is clearly in shock still. To have to go through something like this, or to go through such terror at his age, is unthinkable, really. We've reached out to the White Helmets requesting a statement or some reaction to what's being filmed in Douma right now, but we're still to hear back from them.
Igor, as I understand, there was other footage from the alleged scene of the attack, wasn't there?
Yes, indeed. There was another video released by another activist, and it is apparently from an apartment building where the actual chemical projectile, the alleged chemical projectile, landed. This is the initial video that we're showing you right now, and this is the projectile.
Come on. This is a staged video. This here is a staged video. This is where the projectile came from, and here it is. This is a complete staged joke. And people, our countries, launched missiles, went after them, publicly go after and say Assad and Russia are responsible. We're going to hold Russia responsible for this. Pay attention. Russia's playing along with this too. Don't kid yourself. Putin knows this shit is fake as well. Okay? Why hasn't he struck back? He said he would strike back. Da-da-da-da-da. No. Everybody's eyes were red in this video, as the father said. And other independent journalists have said the same thing. Pay attention. The children were grabbed. First off, these children and alleged victims came from a local refugee camp. Okay? From that camp, 24 hours before this event, they took blood samples from these people. Kids, parents, the above. 24 hours before. Okay? Why? they're going to taint it. And this is what alleged evidence the U.S., UK, and France went off of. The white helmets come in, okay? They come in, they grab these kids, people, they bring them in there, start throwing ice cold water on them. Their eyes become red, okay? There's no chemicals in there. There's no gas. There's no nothing. Nada. Just like the boy just said. Just like his father just said. And there's many more independent journalists that have nothing to gain from this, going in there and telling the truth. This staging. This is a staged event. Look at this guy.
We, our crew, again, managed to get inside this very building. So to the left, you can see our video, and to the right is the original one. And initially, how the media reacted to the firstly released video, well, they saw it as rock-solid evidence of a chemical attack.
The chemical weapon that killed dozens of civilians here.
Canisters that the Assad regime has previously used in chemical attacks.
The Assad regime has used the same yellow gas canisters.
The NSC telling Fox News they have a high degree of confidence that it was used.
Apparently the projectile was still toxic, was still fuming with something toxic, and that's why they had to wear a mask to protect themselves. But we've spoken to a number of experts, and they've told us that a mere gas mask is basically not enough to protect oneself from a toxic substance.
If that
You can't wear, this is what I'm trying to tell you, even the white helmets video with the kids, okay? You can't touch these kids, even if it was tons of chlorine and all the above, wearing nothing, their hands would be burned. The kids' eyes would just be like, I can be happily. I want you to Google chlorine attack photos, not the ones from these people. Look at what chlorine attack looks like. Look what sarin gas looks like, okay? If that projectile, as he's going to say, was hot, you couldn't go even with a regular gas mask and point your hand towards it like this. This is the most, and this is the scary part. Listen to what I'm telling you. World War III could be started on another fake event like this or anything else, okay? Fake EMP on the United States by, Russia or this one or Iran or that one. They're getting ready, I'm telling you. They want big war. They need a big war. Just like this North Korean crap. You know what's going on with North Korea? Let me finish with this before I don't want to get off track. Listen.
Or a nerve agent, whether he's got his face covered or not, it's going to go right through his skin. The only protection that he could have is if his whole body were in a chemical-controlled suit. If it were chlorine gas, that would protect him from some small leaking of the chlorine gas for a while, and it doesn't make any sense. I could see it going through a roof and never even breaking. It's a silly way, and even if it did break open, the dispersal of the chlorine...
Here's the best part. Here's the best part. Where are all the kids? Okay, all these kids and all these people were not in this bedroom or around here. They got them from a refugee camp locally. And CNN even did it with their own report, didn't even know what they were doing. And they pushed this propaganda from where? The Pentagon. Okay? And the father goes, no, they took my blood 24 hours before. And the video, they want Syria. And most of all, they want Iran. Lots of money in war. But for people to believe this and not understand the power that is coming into play on that they are just launching cruise missiles, bombs, etc., on hoaxes, on false flags, and people are going out there saying, oh, the poor kids. And guess who plays along with it? All of it. Fox News, CNN, all of them play along with what the Pentagon feeds them. It doesn't matter if you're right or you're left. And the left plays along with it, and the right plays along with it as, oh my God, this is so bad. These poor kids, what a disgrace. See what I'm telling you? It's both parties. It is both parties. Yeah, canister taking a nap in the bed. Come on. Give me a break. It's just fucking unbelievable. And people believe this shit. And then people laugh like I'm some tinfoil hat. No. World experts say the same thing. Pay attention to facts, not fiction. And use common sense, which is totally missing from many in the world today. They're so caught up in propaganda and drama and bullshit and arguing with one another over crap. Whether Hillary Clinton's going to go to jail, whether there's 25,000 indictments and some big plan from Donald Trump and that. Like, remember what I told you when I started out this video. 23 wild tweets today. A shooting. Watch what happens this week. Come back and you can laugh at me at the end of the week. We'll see where we're at by Saturday, okay? We'll see what happens this week by Saturday. Pay attention.
Might only kill the people in the room, but not even people outside the room. They'd had time to get out.
Now, an international chemical watchdog is, carrying out its investigation in Duma. Do we know what level, what stage they're at now in the investigation?
Well, the OPCW inspectors, the fact-finding mission, they are in Damascus, but they so far have not been able to enter Duma. It's not safe. UN security mission, they went to the city of Duma with the Syrian army, and they came under small arms fire. So far, it's not safe enough. But this whole endeavor has somewhat been rendered, well, almost irrelevant, I should say, because the retaliation for the chemical attack, there's no confidence yet in the fact that it even happened in the first place, but the retaliation is already there. The US, the UK, and France launched missiles to strike targets they believe the Assad government are using to produce chemicals. Right now, the big intrigue is what the official investigation is to show whether or not the attack happened.
Bottom line. Bottom line. I'm telling you now. Garbage. BS. Total BS. Total BS. I'm telling you right now. Whole thing's BS. That's why we struck it so fast. We struck it without congressional approval. Why do we have Congress? Why does the UK have a parliament? France, same thing. World leaders are acting on their own without any control, without any checks and balances. Just like it's hard for me to believe that far-right people, well, it's not hard for me to believe, that the far-right says that Donald Trump should be able to fire, so that means any president, Democratic or Republican, should be able to fire someone who is specially investigating them, okay? No man is above the law in this country. And if people allow this to happen, if the American populace allows this to happen, and trust me, Mueller's even going soft on Donald Trump. Okay, Bill Clinton got subpoenaed to a grand jury. Donald Trump should be subpoenaed to a grand jury. Donald Trump should be talk. Donald Trump should not be eliminated and be able to, pardon everybody that's involved in this. That's why the state charges are going to back this up. So when people do that, why is it okay for the president to get away with something, whether they be a Democratic president or a Republican president, if they're dirty and they're criminal and they've done criminal activity? So my point is, no man is above the law. Why should the president get any more special treatment than any other American if they are under criminal investigation and or even just regular investigation? Why is that? No. It shouldn't work that way. And it should definitely not work that way. How would America, let me put it this way. What if you get a tainted president, right, who is working with a foreign entity because they have dirt on them and they're blackmailing them? Forget Trump. It could be, let's just say it's Obama, anybody, okay? And they are jeopardized. They are bought and paid for. You think that's safe for the our American military? You think that's safe for America? If that were the truth, and you would want a president to stay in office who is compromised. I'm just giving you an example, whether it be Obama, Hillary, Trump, anybody, Clinton, Bill Clinton, anybody. Why would you want any president as an American in America to be above the law when America is built on no man being above the law? If that was you or I or anyone else doing the same things that Donald Trump is accused of or Hillary Clinton is accused of or any above, we'd already been locked up, indicted, gone to trial, smashed all over the newspaper, and destroyed. Okay? No man is above the law. And the minute that changes in this country is the minute we are done. We are finished. Because then there is no checks and balances. And as you can see what Congress is doing, and I'm going to predict something else and tell you something else. Devin Nunes is finished. Trust what I tell you? Just like Hannity, as I told you about Hannity before it happened, and it came out. Just wait. More is going to come out this week. And some just came out today about Hannity's holdings and all this kind of stuff. Get ready. It's going to be all connected together with lots of shit. Just watch. And it follow the money. It all comes down to money. Okay? All comes down to money and being compromised. So my point to everybody is, why would you want a president, whether it be a left one, a right one, or anyone, that could be compromised in the White House to sell out America and God forbid your son or daughter is in the military, you've been in the military, you're not even just that, you're an American. If you're an American, you shouldn't want any corruption in the White House or up in there in the FBI or the CIA or the above. And it doesn't matter what side. If they are corrupt and they are compromised, so then is America compromised. So then is American safety compromised. So is America's future compromised. While Americans play along in this great drama from the far right and the left and harming each other, being nasty to one another, even divisions in family and relationships and everything, over all of this madness, no American is above the law. And the minute that one American, like the president, becomes above the law, we are finished as a nation. We are finished as a democracy. Follow the money and protect America. Not some president, whether they be left or right. And there's too much evidence, and I ask all far righters who love Donald Trump, why hasn't the man shown his tax return? And Mueller's had his tax return for 5 months. Why doesn't Donald Trump show his tax returns? Why doesn't Donald Trump go and speak to special counsel? Why doesn't Donald Trump do anything that he says he's going to freaking do instead of lying about it? The man lies so much it's pathological. And people on the far right keep making excuses for a president who does this. You're going to find out no matter what, no matter who's fired, no matter who's indicted, that the man is compromised. I'm sorry to tell you all, compromised from Russia. It's not a hoax. It's not a hoax. All these people, and Nunes and them and far righters are going after one thing. They're saying that the FISA warrant that started all this was based on bullshit. Well, guess what? And the dossier. Even if all that is true, all the evidence that's come out since Mueller's been put on there, and the guilty pleas, the wires, the snitching, everything, the documents, everything, Donald Trump's lawyer going down, this is going to be nasty. Nasty. And you're going to find out a lot. And I have been hearing this. They are very concerned for the safety, the national security of the United States. So they're working on possibly a deal, as I told you, with Trump, because they're concerned, and this is what their answer is. For the good of the country and the American people, we're only going to go so far in this because it's that bad. It's that bad. On both sides. On both sides, it's that bad. And that's what people have to understand. And it doesn't matter how much more evidence keeps coming out every day, the far right still doesn't believe it. They think it's fake news. They think these people are making this shit all up. It's kind of sick, actually. People, facts are facts. Nobody's making up millions of documents. No one's making up millions of documents and people's testimonies and wiretaps and snitches and all the above. And you're going to find out that there's still a snitch in the White House that's working with the feds. Pay attention. That's all I'm going to tell you. You'll see. You'll see. And again, this week in review, you're going to see serious world events from weather across the globe getting worse again. It's going to continue to happen weekly. To all my members or board members or those, please do not give in to these people with laughing or trolls. Let them be. I'm shooting onto my public wall. So whoever they're on there, we vet them out at the end and let them be. Don't even let these people bother you. Okay? Don't let people who are haters, they hate themselves. They don't hate anybody else. They hate themselves. They're miserable people. These people are miserable. Don't let them bother you. Okay? I agree. I'll be happy once MFA Social is done, and I have a very big update coming this week for you all on that MFA Social. Very big special. It will be to the group privately to show it off to you and where we're at and what's going on with that. It's a webinar. Okay? along with MFA TV and what's going on with that. Exactly. Don't let anybody distract you. And I want to go into some very important world news. Sheep can be sheep. Let them stick their head up in other sheep's arse. It'll be fine. The planet is changing drastically. This is now Turkey. You should see the tornado that hit Florida recently, the past 24 hours. 48 hours, excuse me.
Antakya süzülen sel sularının birikip akış yolu bulduğu çarşıda esnaf da şaşkınlıkla o anları cep telefonlarıyla görüntüledi.
This is the state of emergency still unfolding in Kauai, leaving the Hawaii.
Pay attention. All these people that think that this is some joke, what's going on this planet. When I'm done with the world part of this, I have a special show coming in about our solar system and what's going on currently. This is serious. Hawaii got wiped out. Kauai got wiped out in Hawaii, but this is serious stuff, and people just don't get it. I just don't understand people. You know, they'd rather, hey, don't worry, everything's good, nothing's happened, you're crazy, our planet's good, you know, it's all, no. 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 Again, no. And you could show them, this is the point, this is the scary part. You could show them 5,000 videos from the past 3 months of all the weather changes on the planet, right? All the bizarre happenings, all the biblical flooding, all different stuff, right? Big hail in Saudi Arabia and snow, and they'll still sit there and go, no, everything's okay. It's all good. Scary. Sheep. Head in other sheep arse. You understand? And they march along together. And they just march along together. Okay? They just march along together. And they don't think, you know, ignorant. Sorry to tell you. I don't believe that it's nothing other than that, because they are being given the information and ignoring it and or thinking that it's fake. Same thing that goes with Trump and or Hillary on both sides. And that's the way they want it. They want people all confused. They want people totally confused and distracted from what's really going on and the purpose of what their major end game is on this planet. Yes, Diane, I very much agree with you. It's very frustrating to talk to clueless people. That's why I love MFA and our private group and our organization, where people are like-minded, different opinions, but still always like-minded, and a lot of the same opinions, but as well as are open-minded and using common sense. Because common sense has gone out the window along with facts. And facts are facts. People don't like facts anymore. They want to go along because they love the drama. Just like you're going to see in the November elections, watch what happens. You're going to see a lot of hacking and all types of shit going on with that, because nobody's doing anything about it. Okay? And they don't want to do anything about it. And the Republicans are protecting. And Nunes, just so you know, I'm telling you now, Nunes, there's a 75% chance he will be indicted for helping with the conspiracy and collusion. Trust what I tell you. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. And if you have any common sense, you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay? And Hannity is done. I'm telling you. Just wait. I predicted that and said it for over 6 months, a year. Nobody wanted to listen. And Roger Stone, Julian Assange, forget this DNC lawsuit or whatever the hell that shit is. Okay? Just forget that DNC lawsuit. That's ridiculous. My point being, though, the people named in there, that information is, meaning those people are the ones going down. Yes, Deborah, anytime people think you're crazy, you know you're telling the truth. Exactly. Okay? You don't get attacked for telling lies. You get attacked for telling the truth. And this is, you know, it just amazes me. I agree, John. I'm not voting ever again. Not unless everything's cleaned out. Both sides cleaned out. Got to be cleaned out what's happening in this country now is so bad, and what's coming from this, and the division, and the hate, and the propaganda, and the lies, and one battling the other to try to stop. No, it's very, very bad, and this country is it's already in this constitutional crisis, and it will get worse. It's going to get worse. Unless some deal can be struck with this for the better of the United States. But unless both sides are cleared out, both corrupt sides are cleared out, it's not going to change. Americans have to stand up to change this country once and for all. And I see a lot of women now running in 2018 as well, which I think is a good thing.
By an island with roads underwater, vehicles overturned, and homes washed away. The most severe flooding leaving some tonight still waiting for rescue. The National Guard, the Army, and the Coast Guard airlifting more than 340 people out. And even those in shelters still need help after nearly 30 inches of rain in 24 hours.
We tried not to let the kids see, but I was terrified.
The GoWilliams family on vacation from San Diego was trapped until famed surfer Laird Hamilton came to their rescue in a small boat.
It's hard to conceive that much water could come from the sky, and I mean, it was like an ocean back there.
With power out and access cut off, the
biblical flooding, okay, from the sky, just like the guy just said. It's hard to believe that this could come from the sky like that, just like that. So pay attention. When you are somewhere and the sky opens up and you end up like them, okay, and others, then you'll understand, okay? Biblical shit is happening all around the world, from cracks in Africa to here and there. They're not going to tell you the truth about all this. They're not going to ever tell us the truth till it's right up on our ass, okay? And that's it. And it is on our ass. And it's going to continue to get worse and worse and worse. And how people can argue that fact after seeing the pattern of weather changes and proof over the years keep growing and growing and growing and growing and growing, which goes to a magnetic and regular pole shift. I don't know what to tell you, which is not on, it's happened before on this planet. So when people argue and say this is not true, there's nothing to worry about, you got to have, I'm telling you, you got to have rocks in your head. 28 inches of rain in less than 12 hours. 28 inches, I thought it was 31, but anyway, 28 to 31 inches of rain. Just like when I told you about the hurricane last year in Texas. I said you're going to have biblical flooding. People laughed at me. 51 inches. 51 inches of rain. Unbelievable. People just amaze me. Sorry. I don't know.
Full extent of the damage is still unclear.
The water came through my mom's bedroom and then just kind of jettied through the house.
Tonight, a race against time to get supplies to the many still stranded as a new storm barrels in. Disaster in paradise with more trouble on the horizon.
Dead fish chasing people off the beach in Collier County.
It's all caused by red tide that just seems to have gotten worse over the past week. NBC2's Shannon Clough live in our control room with more on what people at Barefoot Beach are seeing.
FWC's latest report, which was taken today, show fish kills are at a medium level at Barefoot Beach, meaning anywhere from 100,000 to 1 million fish kills are present. That's up from last week, and people say they're no stranger to the symptoms caused by red tide.
Sort of creepy. You sort of think, what's going on?
One, two, well, they're everywhere.
Lots of dead fish. We even came across a fish, I'm not lying, this big. It looked bloated like this.
And pay attention. This is happening all over the world, not just here on this beach with the red tide. Okay? On the red tide down, you know what I'm saying? This is not just here. It's everywhere. I've been sharing, whales, sharks, mahi-mahi, dolphin, etc. Animals, especially marine life and birds, tell serious what's coming and what's happening. And even the Bible speaks about it, okay? If you want to get into to that part, okay? Our planet is rapidly changing. Our oceans are turning acidic. They are trying to prevent the planet from warming up now, okay? Just so you know. That's what they're doing. They're trying to prevent the planet from warming up. They don't want it warming anymore because it's melting polar ice caps, and that fast, very fast. I told everybody you'd see the largest water rise in 2018 than ever before. So I will bet you by January of 2019, it will be proven that if with the proper information that the water rise, it was the highest ever in our time on this planet since inception of our time.
Bacteria 6 times the health limit detected over and over in a creek that runs through the city of Fort Myers and empties into the Caloosahatchee. Billy's Creek has been contaminated for more than a dozen years.
And this is just one area in the United States. There's tons of this all over the place. They're checking now. There's 22 new strands of bacteria. They want to check all people for this alleged bacteria and then give them vaccines for it. Prepare for survival, as Trevor says. Survival is key. People need to wake up, and guess what? They don't wake up, it's on them. They can laugh, they can do whatever they want, it doesn't matter. When it happens to them, they'll get it, and it'll be too late then. It'll be too late.
NBC2's Brandon White is in the control room with what's being done about it.
Well, the fecal bacteria found in Billy's Creek can cause serious problems for anyone who touches it. That's why the Calusa waterkeepers brought their research to Fort Myers City Council and pleaded for action. Bacteria in Billy's Creek.
This particular water body is consistently in the 300, 400, 500 range, way above the beach closure threshold of 71.
6 times the amount it takes to close a beach.
And there's growing concern that there is antibiotic-resistant forms of this bacteria. So if you get it, particularly if you have a cut or something, you could get a really bad infection that may not go away right away.
Well, some city officials say they wouldn't mind swimming in Billy's Creek.
Well, the PIO has said it's safe for recreation. I just have to say.
And it's safe. They are telling people that it's safe to swim in there. Do you understand the madness? The madness. Okay? The madness. It's okay to swim in there. It's okay. No, it's not okay. And this is what's going on. We'll go back to the Michigan waters. I mean, it's just horrible across this fucking globe and in the U.S. as well. And no one cares. If they cared, they wouldn't tell people not to swim in there. And they would get to the bottom of it and try to solve it. But no, it's okay to swim in there. So you want your kids to go swimming in there? You want your kids to go swimming in there? I asked you that question. But yet people care about all this other bullshit instead of, I mean, okay, yeah, it's okay, swim in there. Put your kid in there. Go swimming in there. Jump in there. Get the fuck out of here. Excuse my French. Fucking believable.
I disagree with that.
The Calusa waterkeeper wants to be clear.
Would you kayak in these waters?
Nope. I would not kayak in this creek.
Which is why he wants more signs posted nearby.
They need to know why they shouldn't be in the water.
Mayor Henderson feels confident the city will fix the issue.
We're going to get data to help us see how we can address that, and we're going to do that sooner.
Why does it take, and this is why news is so important. True news is super important, and that's why people need to step back and understand that Washington Post, New York Times, all these places and other stream channels are not all fake news, okay? At all. This mayor only did what he was supposed to do. This problem's been there a long time. Because what? The news made it public, and people got outraged, and people are getting outraged. So without news and the First Amendment, you never fix problems like this or corruption or let people know the truth of what's going on. People need to stop attacking the First Amendment and news when it's telling the truth. Fucking mayor, he didn't do shit. He knew about this. It only took, because it was broken on the news, for him to do something. I can go back to the stories in Pennsylvania with kids for cash. The judges were selling kids for cash. It's the biggest scandal in U.S. history for children for legal cases ever, 700 some odd cases. They stood there in Luzerne County and allowed them to go up before judges without lawyers, sentenced them to private juvenile camps, and get paid kickbacks for it, and people knew it was happening and did nothing. The DA's office did nothing. The judges did nothing. No one did that. You know, It took the parents and going to the news and the judge that got fired to bring that to the thing. And if it wasn't for the news to make it go viral, it would still be going on today and being covered up in corruption. So when people attack the news, please remember that it exposes the truth on a majority, 95% of it.
Than later.
Fort Myers and Lee County are conducting testing this week in hopes of finding the cause of this contamination.
We're all aiming toward a common plan, a common goal.
Sure you are.
Once the results are in about what's causing this contamination, City Council will work on finding a...
Pay attention. A new report suggests the Great Barrier Reef may never recover from a 2016 marine heat wave. It's bleaching it. The oceans are becoming acidic. This is a sign we can tell from geological studies that this planet has gone through the same cycle before, major pole shifts. Scientists say 30% of the reef coral died in this 2016 event. 2016 event appears to be far more harmful than historical bleachings. The heat wave was caused by a combination of climate change and the El Nino weather effect. The researcher mapped heat exposure and coral death along the reef's 2,300 kilometer length. The study found that although many corals died immediately from heat stress, others died more slowly following the depletion from their zooxanthellae and thalli, i.e. the yellowish-brown algae. The findings suggest the reef will probably continue to decline until climate change stabilizes. Second day of grilling in Parliament in the UK. Strike fallout. We were talking about this earlier, about the Syria strike. Strike fallout in the UK. Macron faces backlash as French Parliament criticized Syria strikes because there's no evidence. Second day of grilling, Prime Minister explains why they struck Syria. It's all bullshit, false flag. We have today opened 7 new investigations into the due impartiality of RT News and current affairs programs. In accordance with our normal procedures, we will make the outcome of these investigations public as soon as possible. Until recently, TV Novoseti's overall compliance record had not been material out of line with other broadcasters. However, since the events in Salisbury, we have observed a significant increase in the number of programs on the RT service that we consider warrant investigation as potential breaches of the Ofcom broadcast code. In relation to our fit and proper duty, we will consider all relevant new evidence, including the outcome of these investigations and the future could conduct a license. Now, RT is being attacked for sharing the truth about Syria and other matters, okay? And they want to shut down RT all over, just like they want to shut down Al Jazeera as well. What you see happening is New World Order trying to control what is getting out to the world, and that's what they want. They want to shoot down any stations that bring you the truth or the above.
To cooperate with Ofcom in the framework of the investigation. While RT's editor-in-chief said, "I'm replying immediately, Skripal's cat wasn't us." During the French presidential campaign, would-be President Emmanuel Macron accused France RT of not being impartial and broadcasting propaganda.
They're broadcasting truth.
A similar accusation in the US saw the RT channel disappear from television screens in the Washington area.
Why do you get rid of RT in the Washington area? Because they don't want the truth out there. It's amazing. And people don't understand. So they think it's a Russian network, so it's got to be all false propaganda, right? A lot of it's not. Sure, there's some things in there that Russia propaganda, just like our own media does for our own country and the propaganda with war and the above. That's the problem. Propaganda is everywhere. But Al Jazeera and RT have a lot of true stories, and I factually fact-checked a lot of these stories, and almost all of them when I can before I broadcast them out, if they're true or not. You just got to do your homework. If you control the news, you control the people. Pay attention. If you control the news, you control the people. Saudi Arabia's finally opened a movie theater after 35 years. 35 years Saudi Arabia did not allow people to go to the movies. And this is a country we back with the highest civil rights violations around the planet. Saudi Arabia, Saudi Arabia, Saudi Arabia. Well, Saudi Arabia is milking this country. Best friends with Trump at the gas pumps right now. Pay attention. Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, all of them. They need money because oil's been low for a long time. Well, we're back to that same old BS again.
It's a big thing to reopen cinemas after a gap of more than 35 years. And this is a beautiful theater, one of the prettiest in the world. And here we are showing one of the highest grossing films of all time, Black Panther. And this is just the beginning. We expect to open about 40 cinemas across 15 cities in Saudi Arabia just in the next few years. Down the road, maybe 100 theaters in Saudi Arabia.
It's a new era, new age. It's that simple. Things are changing, progress is happening, we're opening up, and we're catching up with everything that's happening in the world.
Somebody just asked me why we have oil. We have oil in the U.S. Why are we so tied to Saudi Arabia? Well, J.P. Getty and the Getty fuel is the one we have ties with Saudi Arabia since the beginning of creation of Saudi Arabia. I will have to do a special show on why our real ties with Saudi Arabia and what's behind it all. Okay, because it's pretty deep and it's pretty intense. And Trump claims that we don't have to be dependent anymore on any other countries for oil. Well, it's true, but that's been that way for a long time, forever. The Saudis with the oil has been a very big, very, very big network with the United States and other world powers, with OPEC and things of that nature. There's a whole other element to get into, not now. I don't want to digress from this.
President Trump's Faith Advisory Council speaking out following an invite-only meeting at Wheaton College involving roughly 50 faith leaders. Reports say the meeting was very anti-Trump and discussed the future of the evangelical movement in light of the Trump presidency. Here with insight, co-hosts of the Christian Broadcast Network's Faith Nation, Jenna Browder and David Brody. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Great to be with you.
Good morning. Thank you. Well, Jenna, we'll start with you. Tell us the story here. What happened?
Right. Well, this was supposed to be a meeting, Ainsley, about evangelism and about faith. But from what we understand, it really turned quickly into a Trump bashing. Sources close to the meeting with knowledge of it saying that, they really didn't realize, some of these people, what they were getting into. And in fact, a few people actually walked out of the meeting.
That's right. And Ainsley, I will say that it was one-sided venting here is what happened. This is a two-day conference. The first side became basically this free-for-all, this anti-Donald Trump free-for-all. It got so many folks ticked off, as Jenna was saying, people walked out. And I think that's important to understand that after day one, they left, and then day two continued on, but they were gone.
If you look at the polls, evangelicals voted for him, voted for President Trump at a record level. And the latest Pew poll research shows that his approval rating among evangelicals is 78%. He won with 81%. So he hasn't lost a lot of the evangelicals. What do you think, David, his greatest legacy is? Is it the conservative judicial appointments that he's made?
Well, I think that's huge. And remember, if we go back to the campaign, 20 or so that he actually said he would actually appoint from that list, Supreme Court nominations or Supreme Court nominees from that list. So that's going to be a huge part of his legacy. I will say the other part has got to be Israel. I mean, look, he has talked about it, and it's true. President after president talked about Jerusalem being the capital of Israel, but never moved the embassy there. And then here along comes Donald Trump and actually does it. And that's what evangelicals love about him, that he actually says, he does what he says.
Yeah, promises made, promises kept.
So were these just establishment pastors? Were they part of the establishment or never Trump?
I really want to know what that health insurance is and many other things. Just saying.
Trumpers?
Yeah, from what we understand, a lot of them were more moderate in their beliefs when it relates to public policy, and they do lean
anyone famous that we would have known about that went to that meeting?
Well, there were, Tim Keller, obviously in New York, a big mega pastor.
Yeah,
now he hasn't typically been involved in politics. So, it's hard to kind of classify all of them a certain way. I will just say this, that, you've got the Washington Post and some other outlets talking about this big evangelical meeting. Look, the truth of the matter is this is a meeting with a bunch of evangelicals that really have no say within the Trump administration. And the fact that you had no Trump advisory group members there, I think that speaks volumes.
Real quickly, what's going to happen to this pastor that's held in Turkey? He's accused of terrorism, aiding an Islamist movement, and spying. Do they have any evidence? And his trial is on May 7th. What do you think will happen?
It's going to be tough. I will say this, that, Erdogan in Turkey for a long time is trying to go from a secular viewpoint right into that Islamic viewpoint. As a matter of fact, he talks about this army of Islam that he wants to rise up against Israel. There's reports about that. So this has been a nasty, nasty turn in Turkey and some real issues for the United States. And I think President Trump is going to be involved in this as well.
The United States is piling the pressure on Turkey, warning of sanctions if it buys Russian anti-aircraft defense systems. The purchase could also affect U.S. sales of F-35 fighter jets to Ankara. That's according.
Pay attention. Russia will sell Turkey the S-300 system. Okay, excuse me, and the S-400 system. They will sell it to Turkey. Russia's cutting big deals with Erdogan, and they're building one of the biggest nuclear power plants. Russia is there in Turkey, as I showed you, I think, about a week ago. And Russia will run it and get paid from Turkey as well. Big changes going on. And I'm telling you, Erdogan wants to build the biggest Muslim army in the world. So instead of just like the UN, they want to have this Muslim nation military, and Erdogan wants to create it, and Russia and China are willing to help do this. This is madness.
To Washington, the US adds Turkey should be mindful of making strategic concessions to Moscow during Ankara's interventions in Syria. However, NATO appears to take a contrary stance, saying this is a decision for Turkey alone to make. We discussed the issue with the Dean of the Political Sciences faculty at Turkey's Marmara University, Cengiz Tomar. He thinks that Washington's attempts to disrupt a S-400 deal are designed to divide Moscow and Turkey.
Because of Russian and Turkey relationships and better relationships, Americans try to, oppose and try to, take Turkey from out of Russia using economic problems of Turkey, and this should be very difficult for Turkey. I think Americans try to, to take this government from the power in Turkey to make another, government easier.
The stage is being set here, everybody. I'm telling you. I've been saying this for a very long time. The stage is being set. And you have the 7th largest army with Turkey. And if Turkey gets its hands on with Russian weapons, okay, because this S-400 and the new S-500 that's coming out from Russia, serious stuff. That's why the U.S. hasn't gone after any Russian assets in Syria and things like that, or Israel or the above. They know they'll get crushed. They will get crushed. This system will take down any jet stealth fighters too, just so you know. The S-400 will take down stealth fighter. That's at 30,000 feet. It doesn't matter. It'll take them down to 30,000 feet. The S-500 is even stronger. The stage is being set for this incredible war that is coming. And this is where control and New World Order from both people here and presidents are controlled by this. It doesn't matter left or right. And that's what people need to understand. That's why you saw both sides going along with the fake chemical attack with Syria.
To collaborate with United States. I think as far as this government, AKP government is on power, there is no way, to conclude something between United States and Turkey. I think, the main aim of the United States to take out this government from power.
After reports surfaced that Russia and China have developed hypersonic missiles that could penetrate U.S. missile defenses, the U.S. Air Force has inked a massive contract to develop its own. The service announced on April 18th that it had awarded U.S. defense contractor Lockheed Martin a $920.
If you think the Cold War was something and the nuclear arms race, you're all in for a new surprise, because we are behind on this part, and there is no joke about this. China and Russia are so advanced further with these new type of hypersonic nuclear weapons, it's serious. And this you can blame on Obama, okay? Obama destroyed our military, bottom line, okay? Bottom line. And it would have continued if Hillary Clinton got in there. But still, my point goes to everybody here. You can't have two wrongs don't make a right, and both sides are corrupt and should be exposed. That's what Americans should want. I'm sure people, you have to be tired of the division, the arguing, the hate, the bullying. The political scene is just horrible. Horrible. The racism, everything. It's just horrible. Just pathetic.
$28 million contract to design, develop, and test an air-launched hypersonic strike weapon. The project's timeline was unspecified. Russia and China have made huge investments in hypersonic technology, pushing the Pentagon to step up its own efforts to develop hypersonic weapons. Hypersonic missiles can travel for long distances at speeds exceeding Mach 5. Pentagon officials have warned that enemy hypersonic missiles could punch through U.S. missile defenses because they're too fast to shoot down, leaving the country vulnerable to a nuclear-first strike.
Nicaraguans have taken to the streets of the capital, Managua, and nearby cities. The demonstrations are over government plans for employees to pay more into the pension system, while it reduces overall benefits. Pensioners were the first to protest, but they were soon joined by thousands of students and workers. The government's response has been described as heavy-handed.
The police are attacking us as if we were thieves, rapists, murderers.
President Daniel Ortega's government says the changes are needed to shore up Nicaragua's troubled social security system. But protesters accuse the administration of taking money out of their pockets and trying to silence any opposition. Officials have also been accused of trying to censor coverage of the demonstrations. 4 independent television outlets have been taken off the air for broadcasting the protests.
All over the world, censorship everywhere, so the truth doesn't get out.
11 journalists have been attacked while covering.
In the middle of all these protests, being a journalist in Nicaragua today, especially a journalist covering this crisis and the situation in the streets, means being threatened with death, means having your equipment stolen, and we are being censored by the government by having our signal taken out.
Our government, other governments, everybody's censoring what's going out for the chaos around the planet. Everybody's being censored. Press censored all over. It's like the new norm. It's like the new norm. Nobody wants the truth out. Yeah, bottom line, as Johnny says on here, don't trust the government. And this is why I don't understand why so many American people rely on the government instead of their own intellectual capabilities to search for the truth, find the truth, and it's just, and why they accept just the you know.
Out by the cable company.
Protesters have been accused of setting fire to public buildings. And the vice president has called them vampires who are demanding blood to feed their political agenda. As the violence rages, the government says it's wanting to talk. But on the streets of Nicaragua, it seems both sides for the moment prefer rocks, rubber bullets, and tear gas.
Now, I want to go into a special that was just put out, talking, as I always follow and try to talk about, is our solar system and the magnetic pole migration and thus pole shift and what's going on. So I wanted to share this with everybody. It is from April 19th and quite interesting because the planet we live on is very important for people to know what's going on and that it affects all of us on this planet. All of us.
About the sun and its interaction with the Earth and all planets that revolve around its presence. Stories have surfaced which claim that the sun is dying or that the sun has entered into a long slump in activity, known as a solar minimum. And yet neither of these arguments are scientifically accurate. Rather, they are quite misleading. Observations of the sun over the past 30 years indicate that the sun's magnetic field has increased in strength during the past century, as represented in the variance of solar cycle activity. Now it looks as though solar physicists are no longer...
Facts. Not propaganda. Facts.
Able to predict or emphasize the time or the duration of solar cycles. In the current cycle, as well as the previous two cycles dating back to the late 20th century, observations regarding the characteristics and the duration of solar cycle activity have been completely inaccurate. In fact, the model for predicting these cycles...
Now, I'm going to let this play, but it's something important. These are predictions for our next solar cycle, number 25, starting in 2020, peaking when? 2025 is when I told you I believe that the full pole shift and the magnetic shift would be really at its highest. Okay? So it's the current transition from solar maximum into solar minimum, propelling us into a period of global cooling, which is expected to produce a mini ice age. Start date, end date, peak, what solar cycle 25 will be.
Is becoming obsolete. The solar system is entering into some sort of dense energy region and increasing the sun's magnetic field, which is having a profound effect on the planets and their moons. This is evident from observations of the atmosphere and the brightness of the planets, which is changing. An example of this can be seen in the night sky with the planets Venus and Jupiter, both of which are incredibly luminous. You can almost touch them. With respect to the Earth, it is presently experiencing a speedy polarity migration of 35 miles per year, which is creating severe climate change across the Earth. Our world is also experiencing a tremendous increase in heightened geological activity since the early 20th century, with an increase in both numbers and intensity. The occurrence of natural disasters has also increased substantially, including superstorms and floods that have occurred in the past 30-plus years. The records of the number of snow events, catastrophic storms, heat waves, and floods is being broken every year for the last 20 years, where each year new records are being set. The main cause for the rise in geological activity, in climate change, and in major disasters has to do with the increase of energy at the Earth's core, which is approaching consequential levels. What the increase in energy is doing is allowing the magnetic reversal process to speed up. If you understand this, then you know that geological activity depends on the movement of tectonic plates, which are linked to the process of magnetic reversal. The question that many observers have posed is what effect a magnetic reversal would have on Earth's stability, and what impact it would ultimately have on civilization. What they discovered is that a magnetic reversal wouldn't just affect compasses and GPS systems. It would greatly increase volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, sea level changes, the spreading of the Earth's crust, and an uplift in mountain ranges. So what then is the cause of the dramatic increase in the energy output of the Earth's core? The most logical reason can be found in the increase in solar and cosmic radiation, which points to a change in the position of our sun, in which it would rise above the galactic plane. In a previous video, I discussed how our sun is tilting by 6 degrees to the equator. It is doing this because of the presence of a massive body in the solar system. A report that originated from solar physicists who study the sun's long-term activity have confirmed that this is happening. So clearly something significant is happening to the sun, which affects all other planets. Magnetic radiation will reach its peak when the sun reaches its highest point in the galaxy. Our solar system is part of a dynamic universe that is continuously expanding. The energy output of our sun is in many respects misunderstood, as is its movement and its relationship to other stars. If you visualize a wheel in motion, where the sun is the center and the Earth is a circular outer body, then the heliocentric motion of the planets can be easily understood. The changing of the Earth's seasons would therefore depend on the heliocentric orbit of the Earth around the sun. Everyone who visits this channel has a unique perspective regarding the Earth changes, which is understood because not everyone thinks alike. But in analyzing the facts, there can be no comparison. The facts speak for itself. You are entitled to your opinion, but you are not entitled to your own facts. This was a famous quote that was coined many years ago by one of America's great diplomats. These are words that ring true in our time. We see a lot of misconception in today's society.
Boom. Boom. You're entitled to your own opinions, but you're not entitled to your own facts. Pow. Awesome. Awesome saying. Awesome. You're entitled to your own opinions, but you're not entitled to your own facts. It's just like the truth. The truth will always be the truth. No matter how a corrupt politician, prosecutor, newspaper, anybody spins it. Okay? Because the truth is the truth, facts are facts. People don't like that. People believe their opinions is what is fact. No, it's not. And there's other people out there just like, I know, that's good for a t-shirt. That's a good idea, actually. I like that. We're going to put that quote on the fact. That's a good idea with MFA on the back and the front. I like that idea. It's a great quote. It's the same as pay attention. Pay attention.
Making it difficult to distinguish truth from fiction. What we know about the sun and the planet's movements in space is very complex. It goes well beyond what we have been told. The more important observation that can be derived from this discussion is the rotation of our sun around another star, which is difficult, if not impossible, to observe because the other star is also in motion. Coincidentally, the path of the sun cannot be unfettered from the solar system because the system is carrying you, the observer, through the continuous seasonal cycle of sunrise and sunset, which hinders the motion of the sun against the backdrop of stars, which argues that our universe, indeed all galaxies, are part of an infinite system of stars and planets that far exceeds one's imagination. Among the many changes happening on Earth is one that concerns geological features and whether plate tectonics is playing a role in planetary expansion. In retrospect, there are indications that the planet is encountering a series of events that points to the upheaval centered at the Earth's core. We know that the North Magnetic Pole is shifting towards Siberia. It began gradually some time ago, but its movement has now accelerated at a speed up to 35 miles per year. A number of incidents provide ample proof of an accelerated shift. Take, for example, the fissure that cracked open in Pakistan last year, which spans several hundred miles, one of the longest earth fissures ever witnessed. This is an extremely dangerous region where the Eurasian plate rubs shoulders with the Indian-Australian plate. There are many other regions where giant fissures have formed, which has many people, including prominent geologists.
And they'll tell you this is going to take millions of years or thousands or 100,000 years to happen and blah, 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 blah. No, pay attention. It's happening. It's happening. You got to take it all together collectively. All what's going on the planet collectively and see what's going on, as well as our sun and the above. You know, you see all this, and you see all these people like this, all looking in down the hole. See them? Big cracks, fissures across the globe. Where did this come from? Now they say it was always there, and that rain is what exposed it. Everybody stands around. Keep watching. They were cracking all over the place. And you add up all the other weather anomalies going with it. Earthquakes, volcanoes, change in temperatures, snow where it doesn't snow, massive hurricanes dropping 51 inches of snow, Hawaii getting 30 inches of rain like that. Okay? You keep adding it all together. I'm telling you could have a video that just could go for hours and hours showing you what's going on across the planet in the past 12 months alone. Oh, what's this? This is a big crack. Peru. Oh, yeah.
A sudden rise of water on Lake Michigan, referred to as a SAICH, took place on April 13th. The lake rose nearly 14 inches in just 42 minutes.
14 inches?
These images show the sudden rise in levels, providing a dramatic glimpse of the event. Strange-looking tsunami clouds rolled into the area just prior to the lake phenomenon.
Now, remember this. I had shared with you months back that the government wanted to put in tsunami warning system in all the Finger Lakes. So if the government knows they need to put in a tsunami warning system into the lakes, into the Great Lakes, they already know what's coming. Pay attention. And you can fact check me. They install tsunami warning systems in Lake Michigan and all Finger Lake, Great Lakes. Okay? They know what's going on. They're not telling you. They're not going to tell you. Okay? But out of the blue, oh, hey, we need to add tsunami warning systems to the Great Lakes. Okay. Yeah, this is normal. Sure it is. Not.
In the upper Midwest and Great Lakes, Winter Storm Xanto blasted Minnesota and Wisconsin, setting historic spring snowfall to these states. Xanto officially brought nearly 16 inches of snow to Minneapolis-St. Paul, making it the heaviest April snowstorm on record.
More records being broken again. All, not just through the U.S., but around the world. Facts. Records breaking all over the planet.
It was also the 12th heaviest snowstorm of all time in the Twin Cities. Winter Storm Xanto pushed Minneapolis-St. Paul to its snowiest April on record, with 26 inches of snow as of April 16th. Green Bay, Wisconsin picked up an astonishing 24 inches of snow from Xanto, ranking not only as the city's heaviest April storm, but also the second heaviest snowstorm of all time.
Again, records breaking.
While residents of the upper Midwest were clearing a pathway from their record-breaking snowfall, residents of Oklahoma were being evacuated as wildfires raged across the state, charring more than 366,000 acres and prompting a state of emergency declaration. This chart from the Forestry Division shows the location of fires throughout the state. The smoke generated by the wildfires created an eerie scene across portions of Oklahoma. The summer of 2017 was a remarkable year for wildfires, especially in the Pacific Northwest. These fires were so ferocious that they had the same effect on our planet as a volcanic eruption. The heat and smoke generated from these fires resulted in the formation of massive storms known as pyrocebus. These storms swept the smoke very high into the atmosphere, where it began to move over the northern hemisphere. Because 2017 was a record year for wildfires, the concern is that catastrophic fire events will continue into the foreseeable future. Pyrocebus form when conditions are met for fire heat and smoke to generate what are called dirty thunderstorms. The smoke from these fires can reach the lower stratosphere, where it can spread long distance. On the 12th of August 2017, 5 tremendous pyrocebus formed in British Columbia, Canada, and in Washington state. For many days, an enormous smoke plume which developed from these dirty storms moved from the Canadian Arctic across the Hudson Bay and finally into the Atlantic Ocean. From there, the fallout continued to spread across the northern hemisphere, where it remained until late fall, early winter of 2017. These were wildfire-generated storms that behaved much like a volcanic eruption. Satellite data estimates that the mass of the smoke plume was between 100 and 500,000 tons, which is approaching the output of the Alaskan volcano eruption of Kasatochi in 2008. These fires produced more fallout in just one evening than what was produced in the entire fire season of 2013. The potential for climate implications from these fires is therefore very real. The 2017 wildfires in California's Napa Valley were the most destructive in U.S. history. This fire killed dozens of people and caused $18 billion in damage.
This picture's apocryphal. I can't even say it. I have a problem with that freaking word. Serious, disastrous events here. I remember this photo from California. This is just amazing. I mean, just shocking. And people still don't get it, Excellent video by SkyWatch Media News. Point being, mankind is its own downfall no matter which way you look at it. Because if mankind turns a blind eye to what's naturally occurring, mankind is turning a blind eye to how it treats this planet. Mankind has turned a blind eye to the propaganda and the world control that is taking place. And mankind could thus only blame themselves for the outcome, or not being prepared for the outcome, or not standing up to try to solve this problems. And the more people listen to mass propaganda and lies and not pay attention to the facts and the truth and use good discernment and stop being divided, it's not going to get any better. Thank you all. I will be live to MFA Underground group this week, and I'm going to start to go back to my normal news schedule as well. And again, I apologize. As I said, I've been undergoing some very serious antibiotic treatment for this osteomyelitis infection that I have in my bone that they did not get all removed, and it was what it had spread more than we had thought. So again, I thank you all for your patience, and all members and our officers on our board here on MFA. Anyone looking to find out about MFA or to join MFA, just go to mfaofficial.com. There are new job postings up on mfaofficial.com as well for both paid, and I believe the volunteers are up there as well. Yes, thank you. I am feeling much better, as you can tell. Thank you, Melody. Thank you all so much for your thoughts, your prayers, your messages. But we are looking to hire for MFA, and the team has put up job postings on there, both paid and volunteer. And there's going to be a lot happening this week. Some major decisions are coming that I should get this week for MFA. So again, thank you all. And anyone interested, as if you're a member of MFA, in looking on how to get involved with that, you can just go to mfaofficial.com as well. There's a special spot on there. If you are a member and you prove your membership, you can get to see some seminars and webinars. Thank you guys so much. And thanks, Larry. Yes, like I said, I've had to recut. This antibiotics have been kicking my ass. I'm going to be straight with everybody. This infection I have is very, very bad. And now it's toning down from this. I've had it 16 years. And most of the time didn't know and was misdiagnosed. And finally with the bone scan and some good doctors, we're getting to the bottom of all this. And I've been taking these very serious antibiotics. And no matter what medicine you take with it, when you have an autoimmune, it's one fighting the other. So you want to kill off the one, but your immune system is fighting against that, and you have a problem. But I am, as you can see, feeling much better. And thank you, Kathy, very much. I appreciate you all. And I want to get back on my normal schedule. One thing I love to do the most is broadcast. And with MFA TV coming out, I have to get back on that schedule. But again, I apologize, and I appreciate everybody's patience while I've been taking these very serious antibiotics and stuff. So again, thank you all so much. God bless. And